Welcome to Speakeasy. My name is Rajani, and I'll be in conversation with one of my favorite women from the industry, Vidya Balan, the super talented and the super funny Vidya Balan. The first thing I've noticed that is similar between Shakuntala Devi and you, among others, besides the passion and everything else, is the sense of humor. You don't take things really seriously. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed. The character is quirky and she's fun. Did I get it right? Is that something that you also noticed?
I firstly, hi Rudrani. I think you hit the nail on the head. I keep telling people that she's the only computer with a sense of humor. What a wicked sense of humor. And I can't imagine that a woman from that time could have been so humorous. She and apparently I've heard that she used to enthrall people, regale people with stories. She had people eating out of her palm because she was such a good raconteur, and she was also a performer. She performed, of course, on stage. The match shows were all a performance, but everything was laced with humor. Even you watch the match shows, she's constantly like she had a quick repartee. She had an answer for everything. So witty. I love that. But thank you, you paid me a compliment by calling me 75 into 675 into 675.
If I'm not wrong, it is 3075468875.
That's damn cool.
Oh, obviously cheated. I'm like, ask this question to me, Vidya. I'm prepared for it. But I think it looks like a lot of fun. Tell me, did you learn the tricks from her? The tricks to make maths fun?
Yeah, I figured some hacks while doing this film. Um, and she used a lot of Vedic maths techniques. So I got exposed to some of them, and I think it should be taught in every school. Then maths would be real fun. Maths is a subject that most people find dry and maybe boring, and anyone associated with maths is seen as a geek. But I think all of that will change. It changed for me doing this film. And honestly, Rudani, ever since the film was announced, I I've come across so many people who said, I met Shakuntala Devi. She came to my school to do a math show. She came to my neighbors. I don't know, all sorts of things. It's almost like everyone in the world met her except me. you know. So, and everyone would tell me that, she almost made maths seem like magic. And therefore, it took away that intimidation that people feel when they think of maths. I've had people who tell me, after that, I only used her books for all my exams because they were really helpful. Because she made me realize that you don't have to be scared of maths. So maybe, who knows? Maybe kids will begin to enjoy maths after this.
You know, as I know it sounds a little difficult, but maybe her mathematician, it talks about the choices that she made as a woman, and this constant burden of having to prove yourself, being this perfect person as a family, as while being a mother and a wife, and then of course a working woman, which rarely happens to men, I feel. And that aspect is touched upon here, and people question you that you're spending so much time, including your own children, right? Is that something that you've dabbled, your thoughts have gone into that direction as well, and you were doing it, you realized, yeah, this has happened to you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think Shakuntala Devi was offered to me at a time when I began to see myself as a human being outside of being my mother. Otherwise I thought her life revolved around my sister and me. And it's inconceivable for a child. While you expect that from both parents, I think the expectation from the mother is much higher. And the expectation that a mother has from herself
Yeah.
to make that child her be all and end all. To the point where, sometimes I think the mother ceases to use her own name. She just becomes mommy for everyone or ma for everyone. You know how it is sometimes? I've seen families where the husband also begins to call the mother ma or mama or whatever, not referring to her but with her name, because her identity is subsumed under that of being the mother. it becomes the most important part of her identity or all of her identity. So I think this is so interesting, when a man is a genius, you don't really expect much else from him. But when a woman is a genius, doesn't matter. She still has to be the perfect mother, the perfect wife, and perfect everything else. So
You
this
face
is
this.
something that has been explored because that's what I think Anupama Banerjee expected her mother to be. She was a child, of course. And a child feels that, it doesn't matter that you're a genius. But why can't you be a normal mother?
Hmm. And also, it doesn't matter if your father's spending some time working, but your mother's not around. It's a problem.
It's
It's
always a
that's
problem.
always. Tell me,
Always. So
you
I realized that also. I've been watching, lots of friends with their kids and all that, and I realized that even in a family where husband and wife take equal responsibility, I don't know what sort of conditioning it is, Rudrani. The child expects more from the mother. No, actually, thankfully, it's never happened in my immediate family, um, and never with Siddharth. But when I've gone to family functions, a lot of times, um, I get told that, oh, why family functions? Suppose
yeah
there's a function at my sister's place and I've gone. I've had people tell me, oh, you found the time to come for this, huh? And I'm like, it's my sister's family function. My sister will not have it if I can't make it.
yeah.
It's almost like inconceivable that my sister and I would have that kind of equation, or that we're so close where I would prioritize that over everything else, or that she would prioritize me, when she's planning something because I'm a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd be like, and people would say, "Oh, but you didn't come for so and so's. Must have been shooting, huh? Or you must have been." I know you must be. There's a tinge of sarcasm. It's not appreciation for the amount of
Yeah.
work you put in.
Yeah.
There's a tinge of sarcasm.
15 years, more than that, like 15 years of Parinita.
Yeah.
And I was reading this really amazing memory shared by Shantanu Moitra, where he said that, she auditioned for almost like 70, something like 70 times.
I think all sorts of numbers have been doing the rounds. It was many times, but over the years I've heard 17, I've heard 40, I've heard 75. There's no truth to any of that. It
But a
happened
lot of
over
times.
15 months. It felt like so many tests, but it wasn't actually so many. It must have been some 10 or 12 or something.
To finish that and to finally get that debut film. Today, when you look back 15 years of Vidya Balan and so much more that we need from her, how do you look back at the journey?
Well, I think it's been wonderful, very fulfilling, very exciting, very challenging, all of it and more. But if someone asked me to relive these 15 years, I'd relive it exactly the same way. I don't want anything changed. I feel very grateful for this experience that I've had, this journey. It's better than anything I could have hoped for or prayed for or even imagined.
Did you have any regrets at any point that you later sort of never know?
None whatsoever. I don't regret the things that didn't work out, and I never question those things. I feel like that's life. Yeah, some things work out, some things don't work out. There will be ups and downs and all of that, and we have to just chug along. However
Yeah.
miserable you feel at that point.
You bring about success and failures. Unfortunately, in the industry, the biggest barometer of that has been box office, right? Now, Shakuntala Devi is releasing on a Friday, 31st. It's a Friday, but it's not the same Friday that we've witnessed. It's going to be a different kind of Friday. Vidya, have you thought about that? It's ironical that it's releasing on a Friday because that's what this medium chooses to, transcend beyond.
You
What do you have
know,
to say?
I'm just very excited that 31st of July 2020 is a Friday. So at least keeping in tradition with the fact that our films release on Fridays. The film's releasing, and I hope that people love the film because I've really enjoyed making this film. And I think it's great that people across 200 countries are going to be, watching this film, and it'll be, they won't have to step out of their houses, they can watch it with their families, because it is the kind of film you can watch with your family, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Of course, it was made for the theatre, and the circumstances we're going through are very unfortunate, you know. But who had thought these things would happen? So, in this in this situation, I think it's a great outcome, and I'm so grateful, you know, that Amazon Prime is actually going to open up this film, is going to make this film accessible to maybe people who are not regular Hindi film watchers also, across
Yeah.
the country, across the globe.
Vidya, is there also a sense of relief that you will not be judged on the first weekend numbers? It goes beyond that now.
No, of course, there is you know, you just want your film to be loved. It is going to be judged. But
Sure.
like you're saying, the pressure of the numbers is not there, which is a welcome change.
Yeah.
Though I like that pressure, I must admit. But it is a welcome change. I'm not, you know, because that is the parameter we use to determine whether a film is done well or not, or how liked it is. So that's, of course, it's a. I think I, you know, drowned myself out that day. I just sleeping until late, and then I don't read or watch anything. I behave like nothing's happened. I try to distract myself. So of course that pressure won't be there. But you still want to know whether people have liked your film, right? I had no clue. Suddenly, you know, things have been so quiet for the past 4 months. And suddenly, this crazy, massive response to the trailer happened. And I felt like, oh my God, maybe everything's okay in the world. Maybe it's time for me to step out and promote the film. And then I realized I can't step out.
What have been the most interesting comments from the industry regarding the trailer? I saw so
You know,
many.
lots of people have actually reached out to me and said they love the trailer and they love me in it. And I'm very, very chuffed.
Of course, like you said, these are different times and difficult times. The pandemic has affected people in different ways. You recently shot, and I know you put out pictures about that as well. You obviously are a very right now, so much more. Tell me, how was shooting that day, and of course now going ahead?
You know, obviously we were all very cautious. Everyone was in PPE. And you know, it's very tough because you begin to feel like claustrophobic after a point, especially in an AC environment.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but people were being really careful. I have to say. I think that's the only way we can work for the next year or so, or however long it takes until the vaccine, you know, is whatever comes into being. So I think there's no choice. So there was some amount of, you know, so after that, for a few days, I didn't go and meet my parents because I had exposed myself to
Sure.
people. Those things you have to take care of, yeah. But it just felt good to be back at work. You know, it was a very small unit. I was only doing a photo shoot for a brand. So it wasn't like we were doing a TVC. So we could keep the crew at a minimum. But it went up very smoothly. And actually, if I have to be honest, it felt good. It felt like I was the only one. I was actually the only one shooting in Mehboob Studios. I felt like I owned it.
Also, it wasn't this like a sort of in a way it could be like a prep for that you are planning eventually to go for any shoot, right? Post the
Yeah.
monsoon. You're planning.
Yeah. But
This
God
is like a
knows, you know, how things are going to evolve in the next two
yeah,
months because we can't shoot in the rains. That
yeah.
will happen only post the rains, maybe in October. So by then, I think on a day-to-day basis, the world is changing. You know, the situation is changing, and we are all adapting and getting our heads around it. So by then, I don't know. I'm hoping that the situation gets even better.
And you've been doing your bit in the pandemic as well, helping people, going out there and doing whatever you can. There's also a conversation about how probably now the entourage and the pay cuts that necessarily the actors have to do. Have those conversations come up? Have you thought about it? And of course, you have Siddharth there, the producer. Do that conversations come up?
Yeah, that you know, your entourage will probably have to be smaller. But you know, work goes on. Like today, I'm at Siddharth's office, as a matter of fact, shooting this, doing these interviews, and I have my makeup artist and hairdresser, they and my stylist. I got ready and then they left. Only my makeup artist is still here, just in case I need touch up. So
Yeah.
we're also realizing that, sometimes maybe we've been operating uh, in a space of excess. We're
Mm.
able to manage fully well the way things are at this time. I think there is some message for all of us here. I think it's probably it's a correctional phase. I think the world over we have begun to indulge in excesses. It
Yeah.
was and in a lot of ways, and this period has made us realize that we don't need that much. And it has made us realize that, you know, we are perfectly capable of doing a lot of things that we didn't think we could do ourselves. I think we've become self reliant.
Tell Sanya that, you follow my rules, you're my daughter, and just to tease and have that fun,
No, 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 no. Actually, it's Sanya, when I first met her, she was very quiet, and I was like, oh my god, who will I talk to on set? But thankfully, when we reached London, the ice was broken and we were perfectly fine, and we enjoyed chatting. We got very little time to chat because we were shooting a lot,
yeah.
but not as much as I would have liked. But we got to know each other, and it was great.
But all the very best, Vidya.
Thank you.
It looks fabulous. I'm really looking forward to it. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Rudrani. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.